Hi comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. Right, so today it is another issue of my series What is on My Shelf, and this is issue 3. And in this series what I do is I talk to you about what's on my shelf. Okay, so I've got 4 things on my shelf. Today I'm going to start with this one. So this is The Hobbit, and this was a sort of graphic novel. I think it originally appeared in a number of comics, but this has been put together as a book. I think this dates from around 1989, 1990, so it predates the films. So it's not based on the films, it's purely based on the book. And I think this was the first graphic novel of The Hobbit. I think it's probably still the only graphic novel of The Hobbit. And it is watercolour art by an artist called David Wenzel. This is a really gorgeous little sort of representation of The Hobbit. Some really nice artwork, a really nice Gandalf there. We get, of course, we get Bilbo Baggins and Gollum throwing riddles at each other. Where are we? Can't find Gollum. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. So, is this Bilbo or Frodo? Oh, hang on a minute. I can never remember which is which came first. Bilbo, this is Bilbo. Bilbo Baggins. Frodo's main character in Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit precedes Lord of the Rings. And there's also, of course, the tremendous dragon in here. If I can find him. Smaug. There we go. Beautiful, fantastic drawing there of Smaug. So this is a great book, really nice adaptation of The Hobbit. And if you've got sort of some younger children, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10, this is would be a great bedtime story for them. So it's the first thing on my shelf, the graphic novel of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. Right, next up, what have we got next? Next, I'm going to show you this. This is a comic that I picked up at Thought Bubble. It's Italian. The guy who edits this was at Thought Bubble. And it says in here, it's called Lockzine. And it says, Lockzine is a magazine that celebrates the best in contemporary illustration and comics. It's the result of an open call translated into 4 languages and open to both rising and affirmed artists from all over the world. Lockzine is based in Italy. And the guy who was at Thought Bubble was one of the editors of this, Salvatore. I'm not going to do his name justice. Salvatore Guillaume Amaresi. Okay, this is a fantastic collection of art. I actually picked up a poster from from Salvatore. That's some of his artwork. Some more on the back. Really great stuff. Very different. You can see the back cover here. Really nice. Now, I bought this. I think this cost me about £3. And I bought it and I said to him, could you sign it? And he said, leave it with me for an hour. And I thought, why is it going to take him an hour to sign it? Anyway, I left it with him and I came back later. I mean, look at some of this tremendous stuff in here. And I went back in about an hour's time, and he had done me a little sketch. I'm just going to show that to you. Done that little colour sketch there, which is fantastic. He didn't charge me anything for it, and I thought that was really. And he signed it as well. Just down the side there, Amaresi. It's really great. This is why I like going to these conventions, especially Thought Bubble, because you meet people that you would never otherwise meet. You see art that you would never otherwise see. Really, really great, thought-provoking, different stuff. So that is Lock Zine number 9. Really like that. It's one of my favourite pickups from Thought Bubble last year. Right, what else have we got? Okay, I have to be a bit careful with this one because it's got rude bits in it. Right, this is one of my, well, it is my favourite comic writer of all time, the fabulous Alan Moore. And look at this, it's a fantastic, great, big, thick book. This is an expanded edition with 32 extra pages of gallery art. Now, this book, for those of you who don't know, this was 16 years in the making. And Alan Moore worked with this artist here, Melinda Gebbie. Now, Melinda Gebbie is now Alan Moore's wife. Now, Alan describes this book as pornography. He said, if I describe this as art, everybody would say it's pornography. So I'm going to describe it as pornography, and everybody will then say it's art. And that's exactly what happened. So he said that what he wanted to do was he wanted to raise the standard of pornography, but this is not pornography. Yes, it depicts lots of sexual acts, but it's much more eroticism than pornography. The art is by Melinda Gebbie. It took her 16 years to do the art in this book. Watercolors, mixed media. It really is fantastic. I'm going to be very careful showing you any of the pictures from here because some of them are a bit naughty. But I will put, as I'm speaking now, I will put some of the more acceptable images up here. Just a little bit of what this is about. So the Lost Girls, this is about 3 girls. They are girls from famous pieces of literature. We have Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through the Looking Glass by C.S. Lewis. We have Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Baum was the guy, yeah, I think Baum. And we also have Wendy from Peter Pan. J.R.R. Barrie, I think J.R.R. Barrie. So it's those 3 girls, but they've grown up. Okay, so when this novel occurs, I think I think Alice, I think she's grey haired. I don't know, she's not specified how old she is, but she's older than the other two. I think Wendy is in her 30s, and I think Dorothy's in her 20s. Anyway, they all meet up at a hotel. I think it's in Austria. And they talk to each other about their childhoods and their sexual experiences. Okay, so they have lots of sexual adventures at the hotel as well. Okay, so I bought this recently. It's got a price on the back. It says £35, which, to be honest, is amazing price for such a great book. The printing in this is great. Let's see if I can just show you. So there's a gallery at the back. I'm gonna try and show you something that it's pretty difficult to find anything that's acceptable. I've got to show you half of this and not the other half. Right. Yeah, there we go. That's Dorothy, and we've got Dorothy again here. I think this was an early drawing that she did of Dorothy. So an amazing piece of work. It's another one of these books that you can dip into. You know, it's written by Alan Moore, so some of the writing is great. You know, he tries to copy the styles of the individual authors around. You know, there's a bit where he's doing Oscar Wilde. So, you know, great fun. You know, and we get some of the stories from, you know, Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, and Peter Pan, but they're a bit more adult in this book. Okay, so really recommend this for adults only. Okay, right, now the last thing on my shelf is this. It's a few comics here. I think I said in my first issue of On the Shelf, which I'll put a link to below, that this is the 30th year of Image being published. So Image first came out in first comics published in 1992, and I showed in video 1, I showed the first ever Image comic, which was Youngblood 1 by Rob Liefeld. Now, one of the comics that I really enjoyed when Image came out, and I collected all of them, so there were 35 issues of this, was a comic by Sam Kieth called The Maxx. Really different, very interesting, and I loved Sam Kieth's artwork. In fact, I just looked Sam Kieth up on the interwebby thing today, and I found his blog page, and he posts some recent art. You know, he posts quite regularly there, and he puts artwork up, and really like Sam Kieth's artwork. So I just got put up here a few of these early Maxx covers. This one's really nice. This is the woman who is in one world, you know, in the real world she's a social worker, and in his sort of dream world, alternative reality, she's the Queen of the Panthers, I think, something like that. Great stuff. And issue 3. I actually did an animated version of the Maxx, which I have watched. It's quite good, but it's quite done in a very budget fashion. I don't particularly like the voices the voice of the person who plays Maxx. It doesn't fit with my idea of him. But the comics are great. These are not expensive comics. You can still pick these up relatively cheaply, considering they're now 30 years old, and these are from the first year of Image. I suspect because the print runs, it was early 90s, the print runs were probably pretty big, so there's probably quite a lot of these around. This one's really nice. This is one comic called Friends of Maxx, and it says on the cover here, Mickey, sitting under this dangerous propane tank is kind of like a symbol for our whole relationship. Mickey replies, shut up. And Maxx is down here, and he's saying, hey gang, do you have the guts to read a comic about emotional jeopardy instead of that typical physical jeopardy crap? Yeah, so that is Sam Keith's The Maxx. Great stuff. Going back 30 years for that. Okay, comic book fans, that's your lot for this episode of What's on My Shelf. I hope you've enjoyed the stuff that's on my shelf that I've just taken off my shelf. Enough said.